Hi everyone, this is Jessica Stokes, and this is the second video in our 3-video series covering some basics of our school, including Summit Learning, PowerSchools, and Fresh Academy. This video is going to dive into PowerSchools, so let's take a look. When logging into PowerSchools, you'll want to go to rths.powerschool.com, and you will see a login page that looks like this. You, as a parent or guardian, will have your own username or password, and that information went out earlier this week. If you're curious about your student sign-in, that hasn't gone out yet. That's why you don't have it, and that will go out later this week. And if you have any questions regarding parent or student sign-in, please send those to tech@rthighschool.org. Okay, so once you log in, you'll see a screen that looks like this, and we are going to take a look at grades and attendance today. So for that view, you will be able to see your student's teacher and room schedule. And so you can see the classes they're in, the teacher that teaches that class, and the room number of that class. Additionally, you'll be able to see your students' grades. It won't look exactly like this. Instead, you'll see your student's cumulative grade for the year, because we just have that one grade for the year. And also, when midterms occur, if your student has a midterm, that grade will be there. And also, all students have finals, or a final exam or final project of some sort, and at the end of the year, that will appear. And then lastly, you'll see the summative grade that calculates all three of these grades together, and that will be located here. So then, if you click on one of the classes, it will take you into the class view, and you'll see eventually a couple grades there. You'll see your student's project grade, PFA grade, and also additional focus grade. And the things that are really important that I want to talk about are some of the indicators down here that we see. So for instance, the missing symbol is going to be a really important one to you. That is how teachers are going to very clearly and consistently indicate to you that your student is missing a major project that will significantly impact their grade should they not complete it before the end of the quarter. So teachers will leave information concerning student work that is missing or needs edits through this symbol. If you see this symbol, you should talk to your student, and if they aren't able to clarify what's missing, you should also contact their teacher. Then additionally, students have until the end of the quarter to submit this missing work. At the end of the quarter, the work is then missing, resulting in a -5 from their final grade. And we'll talk more about why we have this policy in a minute. But ultimately, if your student is assigned work in quarter 1, and that quarter 1 work is graded, and your student hasn't submitted it, they have until the end of quarter 1 to submit that work. And at that point, we then need to move on to quarter 2 work, and they will not be able to submit it. And we have this permanent point reduction if they don't submit that work in Q1. Now, there will be additional help within PowerSchools to help you better understand what your student is missing. Along with this missing symbol, you will also see the has comment symbol. And so teachers will use this to leave additional information as to what is missing. They'll let you know the name of the missing assignment, at the end of which quarter it is due, and also they'll remind you of the -5 point deduction should your student not turn it in by the end of the quarter. Now let's talk about the reasoning behind this -5 point deduction for each of the major missing projects. So as we talked about in our last video, students are graded on cog skills. So for instance here, this student, it has been graded on theme and central idea, development, selection of evidence, and communication. And so let's take a closer look. Say this is a Q1 grade, and these are the scores the student received. And then say the next semester in Q3, they might be graded on these cog skills again. And if they score higher, so say for theme and central idea, they score a 5. For development, they score a 5.5. Selection of evidence, a 5. Communication and accurately and precisely, well, that one doesn't have a score yet, but say they score higher. The higher grades will replace the lower grades. And what students have realized, some of the students who work this system, is that during first semester, they don't need to do the work, or they don't really need to try. They can get zeros on all of these things, or barely put in any work and get ones on all of these things. And it doesn't matter, because then in the second semester, they can then put in more effort and score higher. And therefore, students can only complete half the coursework and still receive an A. But that doesn't actually assist in them learning and improving themselves. And also, what more likely happens, and what most often happens, is students believe they can do that, but then in the second semester, when they go in to finally start completing some work, they haven't learned anything, and therefore their scores are quite low, and they do not have any opportunity to improve those scores, and therefore their final grades end up very low. Therefore, to prevent this from occurring, we have enacted this policy to help communicate to you when your student is missing items, and also to provide extrinsic incentive that they turn those items in within the quarter. All right, so that is all of our PowerSchool's information. If you have any questions about those, please feel free to email me, and I can provide additional information to answer your questions. All right, thanks. Bye.